I will again point out something that is a very well done presentation that kind of led up to us speaking on stage, but disengagement and withdrawing and being disengaged is a trauma response. And that has to be identified. It isn't that people don't care or don't want to get involved. It's that they are overwhelmed and they can only exert so much mental and emotional fortitude to do much beyond just surviving. Like, I will give the example that I walk to, when I go to counseling every week, I walk to my counselor's office because he's just a couple blocks from my home. In that couple blocks, even though I'm not that far and I could leave my wallet at home, I take my wallet with me because I am worried about getting spotted and pulled over and questioned about why I'm in the neighborhood. Who am I? Am I actually a citizen? Things like that. Do I look white enough to be safe enough? Every week and for the past couple of months, for whatever reason, he lives like 4 blocks from my house. Like, I know where this guy lives, but my counseling sessions line up with him leaving the house, and for whatever reason, I walk past his car every week at a stoplight, and he rolls down the window and he calls me slurs. And so I am verbally abused and harassed by this man on a weekly basis. I have been called, anti-gay slurs. I have been called the R word. I have been called all kinds of things. Just walking down the street in my own neighborhood. And so it's like that takes a toll. I have a little bit more fortitude than that, where I'm just like, I told my therapist, and my therapist is like, start walking with your phone in your hand. The next time he does that, film it, and then come back to me, and we're going to call the police, and we're going to have a chat with that guy. But for someone else, that would be enough to keep them home. Being afraid of getting picked up or questioned by police or ICE or otherwise, getting just harassed by the crazy guy in the neighborhood, things like that. A lot of times when we talk about why aren't people engaging more and why, it's maliciously calculated to a certain extent, especially coming from people like the Heritage Foundation and things like that. And even that person is a victim to a certain extent because he's a victim of, the right-wing machine. He's a victim of what he has been told, what he has been taught to fear from an early age. And he is a victim of that culture, and he is a victim of that misinformation. And so his behavior, though I am not, excusing or dismissing it or anything, his behavior is a manifestation of what he has been taught to do and fear and believe. And he is a victim in his own way, and it's having that understanding. I worked, Senator Bennett asked me to work his town halls that he did recently, where he started in Greeley. We started at one end of the state, and I followed that man all the way to Colorado Springs. And we had a town hall in Golden at the School of Mines where some environmental protesters crashed the town hall. And when they got up, they had little banners in their inside pockets of their jackets. And I felt bad because I let them in and they looked fine. I didn't excuse me, on the way in through the door or anything. But they took out their little banners in their pockets and they held them up and they shouted all kinds of stuff at Senator Bennett. And the cops removed them and the panel continued on, or the town hall continued on. But people left. And they told me at the door, I said, first of all, I'm so sorry that happened. We've had them removed. I hope that didn't diminish your experience and or anything. And I had people say, you never know if instead of a banner, they're going to pull out a gun, and I got scared, and so I'm going to go home now. Yeah. And so people will get spooked if even someone just stands up and starts making an ass of themselves at a town hall that was organized with good faith and intent. A whole line of meeting them where they're at. And it's not just they're holding themselves lofty and unavailable and you have to rise to meet their standards and it's this hell of a deal. Sometimes it's just somebody who's I have a friend DM'd me the other night and said, I am so scared right now as a queer person in America. I'm afraid for my safety. I'm afraid for my future. I'm afraid to go certain places. I'm afraid to do certain things. That should not be how you live your life in America. But that is the truth of how my friend is responding to a lot of stuff as a queer person. And that's the truth of how a lot of other people are responding. And it's meeting people with sympathy and understanding and saying, I know it's hard and I know it feels very you feel very defeated right now, and I know you feel very bogged down. That is what they want. It's like I said earlier about everything else, it's by design, it's not accidental, it's intentional. And either you get up and you do something, even it's just bare ass minimum, the littlest bit that you can do, trust me, you will feel so much better. Knowing that you can do that, and knowing that you can find community, and knowing that you have friends who have your back and that who can help you do stuff, will make you feel so much better, make you feel so much more empowered. And it's all about taking back your power, because that's what this whole movement is right now with the Trump administration. It is a consolidation and a bottlenecking of power, and making sure all of the power exists at the top with Trump and with the wealthy elite, and making sure that the rest of us feel like we have as little power in our lives as possible. And it is working every day in little increments. Incremental change is still change. And so doing what you can, even if it feels like it's not nearly as much as what someone else could do, comparison is the thief of joy. Just do what you can and know that you are doing enough